What do I do? I've gained the ability through taking courses to be able to talk to your spirit guides and loved ones on the other side. Um, People always ask me why I don't call myself a psychic. Really, it comes down to I hate that name. I hate that term. I think there's too much negative connotation with it. So I call myself a channeler. And really, that's what I do. I channel messages from your spirit guides and
Okay.
loved ones that have crossed over already. Gone home. That's home, by the way. Home is the other side. We come to visit here. We live over there. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Kevali Channeling Presents for March the 6th. March. How did we get to March? Holy crap, that mic's like, feel like I was covering half my face. I just like to cover my double chin. So that's how I know where to put it. You can't see it that way. We're in March. I don't know how we got to March, but we're there. Welcome. It's supposed to be spring. Isn't March spring? I look outside. It's like minus 15 and it was snowing all day. Well, it was snowing on and off really lately, but we got a bunch of snow. There's a lot of snow on the ground. Looks like we're going to get snow all week too. Yay! Gotta love Alberta. Anyway, today we have a special guest, Jason Matthews. Jason and I met by circumstance, actually. And it was funny because I'm going to bring him on in a second. I'll ask him about it. Apparently, we have a mutual Facebook friend, which is my nephew. So I'm going to ask him about that. But Jason and I met through. I am going to be doing my first ever solo Spirit Expo, I guess it's called, in June. And Jason is one of the organizers for that event. And then we started talking, and I'm like, holy crap, Jason, I need to have you on the show because you have an amazing story, and I love what you're doing. So without further ado, I'm going to click a button, and let's hope Mr. Jason comes on. See if my technical ability works. Look at that. Mr. Matthews, how are you?
I am very well. How are you today, Kevin?
I am doing swell. Swell. God, I sound like an old fart when I said that, didn't I? I'm doing swell.
I think Mr. Rogers did that, didn't he?
Yeah. Ow! Okay, so I'm old. Oh, that's funny. We didn't talk about this before when we had our little chat, but I look back. The first conversation I had with you, you were putting on another expo months ago. And we have a mutual Facebook friend, my nephew, Dean Ozen.
Yes.
That somehow you know him. You met him at somewhere? You met him at a seminar or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, so it was a seminar that Robert Riopel was putting on. It was a mindset success seminar. It was a 3-day seminar that was going on there. And
Nice.
He was one of the support people that was there. In fact, on the last day, I believe he's a dance choreographer among many other things.
That is correct.
And he had worked with Robert to create a dance routine for the song Gangnam Style. So
nice.
Yeah, they both did that on stage, and it was really cool. It was really cool to see. But
that's Dean, my buddy.
Dean is a really cool guy. I got to spend some time talking with him. Really down to earth, just great person to speak with. So knowing that
literally living in the dream. Fantastic. He is working on Disney cruise ships. He worked cruise ships for about a decade dancing. And now, of course, as he's gotten older, dancing is kind of in his past. So now he's part of the staff on Disney Cruise Lines and just having a blast on life. So
that's amazing. Wow.
I know he doesn't tune in live, but he'll probably tune in at some point. So we're talking about you, my friend. Dean and I have a cool relationship. Even though I'm his uncle, we're quite close in age. He's 40-something. I'm 50, late 50s. Anyway, Thank you so much for taking an hour out of your busy time to spend with us. Um, you are organizing. We're going to touch on what you're organizing and how we met first. Um, you are help. Is it your wife? You and your wife are organizing
Yes.
the. I'm like, is it his wife or girlfriend? Or I
Wife.
better be careful here.
I
Gotta
don't
be.
offend easily, so thank goodness. Neither does she. So yeah, very little that you can say unless you're trying to.
There you go.
It's not very easy to offend us through accident.
So it's called Divinity Events Expo. Is that correct?
It's the Divinity Mind, Body, and Spirit Wellness Expo.
Okay.
The company that puts it on is the Divinity Expo Events.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah, so that's where the confusion is. But this is our second expo that we're having. We had one last year in October, and this it was actually in a hotel ballroom that was about
Oh,
3,000
nice.
square feet at a hotel Blackfoot actually.
Yes.
And we decided that we needed a bigger space, which means we needed more vendors and more practitioners and more advisors and just more. So we are
Nice.
doing more, and we got a bigger space. It's going to be in the Northeast in Calgary, over at the Genesis Center,
Very
and
cool.
looking forward to that. That's going to be in June, from the 16th to the 18th. So anybody
16th
who,
to the 18th in
yeah,
June 16th to 18th. I got to get my stuff together because this is, like I say, this is my first. I've helped Ken Lewicki at many different
mhm.
events, but this will be my first expo that I do solo. So I got to get all my stuff together. And before we know it, June's going to be here.
It is. It's already March. I mean, you blink an eye, and then it's May, and then it's June.
Exactly.
So gonna
Now,
skip right over April.
I have a lot of practitioners of different types that listen to the show. So let's give a plug. Where can they go to be able to see if there's still spots available? Which I believe there is. Is there not?
There are, yes. So we do have. We're very low on the advisor spots. So those who want to do psychic readings, either tarot, mediumship, things like that, we're almost sold out of those. And then with the practitioners, the ones who want to provide healing services, we have quite a few spots of those, and then we have plenty of vendor spots. We're only about half full with our vendor spots. So if you want to get in as either a vendor, practitioner, or possibly maybe as an advisor, go ahead over to divinityexpoevents.com/exhibitors, and you'll see everything you need to about the event, about what the requirements are, as well as be able to apply right on the page.
Nice. Now, difference between an advisor and a practitioner.
So an advisor is someone who just uses either tools or no tools to be able to either predict the future or provide some sort of reading to a person in order to provide information. Someone like yourself who's either a channeler or a whether you call yourself a psychic or a medium or whatever it might be.
Medium. Yep.
Yep. That's an advisor. So someone who just provides a service of information. A,
Gotcha. Okay.
practi- a practitioner is someone who provides a service of comfort and relief. And it's someone who is going to put their hands on another person, either through Reiki, through energy healing, through sound
Gotcha.
vibrational healing, massage therapy, craniosacral therapy, chiropractic. These are practitioners. And then the advisors sell products. I'm sorry, the vendors sell products. The
Vendors
advisors
sell
don't,
products.
the vendors do.
What if you're a practitioner or an advisor that also wants to sell products? Can they do that?
Yes, they can. They will need two booths though, because we actually have a separation of the advisors and vendors. Because we want to make it so that when you go to a table, you know exactly what you're getting. And what we
Yes.
found is that when you have multiple services or multiple things you want to offer at a table, and this is good business practice, by the way. If you offer a lot of things at a table, it gets confusing. A
Yes.
confused buyer is a non-buyer. Someone who is going to be confused is going to do nothing. If given
They're
more
gonna
than one
walk. They're gonna go
option,
to the next table.
exactly. If given more than one option, the likelihood of them doing something it drops dramatically. It drops by 50% if you have two options, and it drops by 75% or more with three options.
Wow.
So Yeah, it is massive, the decline of likelihood a person is going to have success when they have multiple things going on at their table. So we set our vendors, our advisors, and our practitioners up for success by ensuring that they focus on that one thing that they do, on that
Nice.
one thing that they're really good at, and that they focus just on that, because that's what's going to make them successful at our expos.
That's perfect. Good stuff. I like to hear it. So again, if you want to participate, if you want to see if there's a table available, um, reach out. Divinity Expo Events is your Facebook page,
Yep, that's also our Instagram page.
Instagram page, and your website as well.
Yep, divinityexpoevents.com. So we
There
keep it
you go.
consistent.
That's the best. Keep everything consistent. That's
Yep,
the best way. Okay, now that we got that aside, because that's not why I had you on. We're going to have you back on again as we get closer to the June event to discuss the event and what's going on. That probably won't be a full hour show, but we can definitely. I want to make sure we're promoting it as much as humanly possible.
always a good thing.
But what we brought you on for is, who is Jason Matthews and what is it that Jason Matthews does? Give us your 30-second elevator pitch.
Okay, so what I do is I help men be able to overcome the feelings of hurt and resentment, the feelings of disrespect, so that they can become powerful leaders in their own lives. And the reason why this is so important is that men were meant to lead. And we're now seeing a lot in our current society in the US and Canada and many parts of the world where the idea of masculinity is being demonized, and it's being seen as something that's bad. The term toxic masculinity is coming up, comes up a lot. Now, that's not to say that there aren't some aspects of human behavior that can be abusive, controlling, and manipulative, but it's all
Yes.
human behavior. It's not relegated to men. And what I'm looking to do is, or what I'm working on doing is helping men understand that just being a man does not make you bad, that being a man has a lot of powerful um, properties to you being a man. And it's important to be able to own those and to do so in a way that not only serves you, but serves others. In fact, when you use your abilities to lead, to provide, to preside, and to protect, then you become the best version of yourself. You feel like you have purpose, you feel passionate about what you do, you feel like you're confident, intelligent, and assertive. And that makes you want to grab life by the horns. It makes you feel like you have permission to fall in love with life and to act as if you, or to be excited by the act of living.
Awesome. Awesome. Now, how did you come? Like, where did this come from? How did you end up wanting to do this?
Oh, that's a long road. I started off with my own healing. Actually, I come from a history of abuse, and that's you name it. I probably experienced it. The negative sides of life ran strong with this one, and I I was also gifted with being very resilient to my circumstances and not turning to a life of crime or seeing myself as a victim. And it's because of my resiliency that I decided that um, I had to, um, what should I say? I had to make a change, and I had
Okay.
to, yeah, I had to better myself, and really that came about. I realized this when I was about maybe 15, 16, that my life was going in a direction I did not like. I was needing to make some serious changes, and my availability to make those changes at first were slim.
Right.
I'd read a book here or there. I'd do some information, but as I grew older, and especially as technology um, ramped up, and we had the ability for like the internet and then Amazon, Audible, and stuff like that, I was able to really harness a lot more information. I when I moved to Canada back in 2015, I was already a I graduated from my college in psychology with a focus on trauma, and
Okay.
had also taken a lot of courses in self defense and in being able to do conflict resolution and whatnot. I felt like I was capable, and then I actually really started delving into trauma and realizing that what I had experienced was emotional trauma and emotional abandonment, which is one of the worst traumas that you can experience as a child.
Yes, definitely.
And so I had to go on a long journey, about a 2.5 year journey of healing myself of those things, just absolute dedicated on my own, going through all the painful experiences that I had, just to be able to get myself out of that proverbial hole that I was in. And the person that I became when that happened, it shed a huge light on me. So I knew that I wanted to help. I wanted to help others be able to realize the kind of relief that I had felt. They didn't have to do it on their own like I did, and which means that they would be able to do it in a lot less time than 2.5 3 years, and they wouldn't have to go through all of the all the trial and error that I went
Well,
through.
it's amazing to me when I when you look out. I'm going to go back a few years, and you you see the lack of supports there is for males that have been through an abusive childhood or any kind of, I'll call it, a relationship of any kind. Um, th- there's not as many supports, I'll say, for males as there is for females.
There's not a many support for anything for males.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of support for anything for men, and um, unfortunately, that seems to be intentional. You see, let's take the United States for instance. I'm an American, so I know a lot bit more about American stats than I do Canadian. Um, you look at the U.S. and there are thousands of women support avenues that women can turn to in the case of if they are in an abusive relationship, if they've had to escape some kind of situation that was abusive or dangerous. Many different kinds of organizations and groups or programs they can turn to. Do you know how many there are in in the United States for men? There's one. There's
Wow.
one place for men to be able to turn to, and that only happened back in 2008. Prior to 2008, there was none.
Wow.
It was in the fact that it was just, first of all, men don't really talk about their problems, which
Well,
is,
then that's the biggest problem.
well, I don't know if it's a problem or if it's just a mark of absolute resilience on the part of men. But the real problem is that they've had to. It
Yeah.
wasn't a choice. There was no choice in their resilience or their stoicism. It was absolutely foisted upon them that you will be this way.
Yes. And that's the way, I mean, I go back again. I'm 58 years old, so a little bit older than you, I'm sure. I've always been a wear my heart on my sleeve kind of guy. I cry. That's what I mean. I'm not embarrassed by it. I cry. As a teenager, young adult, that caused a problem for me because men weren't supposed to cry.
Right.
I was weak. So, you know what? Guess what? I
You
became
weren't.
weak.
I want to I want to change that because you say that you were weak, and I'm going to say no, you weren't. You were
Well, no,
perceived
sorry. That's the
as
way
weak. Yeah,
society
you
said
were
I was.
perceived as weak, and that's
Yes.
that's something that I would invite you to actually start looking at it as, instead of saying I was weak, which basically causes you to own that as a flaw in yourself. Instead of saying I was weak, I was perceived as weak
And that's what
because
that's the way I should have
yeah,
said it. Yes. But back then, that's just the way it was. You were perceived as being weak. You're a
right,
weak you're of weak character. Not
yes,
weak like muscle strong. I'm just talking literally character.
right. So what I've done is I've gone further than just trauma. I've because trauma isn't something that really sells, especially with men. Men don't talk about their trauma,
No.
but you know what men do talk about? Becoming effective leaders. And what's interesting is that dealing with trauma and being an effective leader are the exact same process. Because in order for you to be an effective leader, you have to be able to think of others first, at least to be one that has any kind of real merit, or one that has any kind of real oomph. You have to be the kind of leader that serves others, and that's how you keep the staying power of that male power that you have, is being of service to others.
Right.
So what I've been doing is I've been teaching men how to lead effectively in a way that gets people wanting to follow them, by showing them how to be influential, by showing them how to be able to have high emotional intelligence, by understanding their own internal strengths and developing an internal indomitable power that can then be used to influence other people through the compassionate and competent interactions that they have with others. Because being a leader, being a man, has nothing to do, like what you said, has nothing to do with the muscles that you have. Has
No.
everything to do with how you address people. Men are meant to lead. Men are meant to be leaders, and we lead others either to become effective leaders or to inspire us, so that we can become inspired to build a world that others will enjoy.
Right. Yeah. Now, going to be a little bit controversial here. I mean, obviously in my industry, the spirituality industry, I'll call it. I hate using the word spirituality industry, spirituality community, dominated by females.
Mhm.
When you speak like this, where you say men are meant to lead, and you're very passionate about it, how is it perceived? Do you get any pushback on the fact that why can't a female lead?
Yes, I do. Initially, I do, and the reason why is because I demonstrate my masculinity, and I demonstrate it in a way that doesn't dominate.
Right.
It presides, but it doesn't dominate. And there's a big difference there. So
Thank you.
women have a capacity to lead, but leading is a masculine trait. It is not inherently a feminine trait. Women have, like the whole yin and the yang. Yang is expressive masculine energy, but there is a small reservoir of feminine energy there. With yin is a receptive feminine energy, but they also have a small reservoir of masculine energy. So
Yes.
for a period of time, for in some capacity, women do have a leadership quality. It will never be to the effectiveness or to the long lasting capability where they are able to lead for others as men do. And that does sometimes rub women the wrong way until I explain it in a way that helps them understand. Women are meant to be nurturers. They're meant to nurture, they're meant to inspire. That they inspire men to do great things. And those great things are done for the women in our lives. The world is built by men for women. And you don't have to take my word for that. Look throughout history and you'll see that this is true. Everything that's ever been built and maintained was built and maintained by a man all over the world. However, it was built for the enjoyment and for the pleasure of the women in our lives, because we know that they needed that sense of comfort and safety in order to want to have some sort of um, relationship with the men in their lives. So they would want to procreate, they would want to have basically carry on the human line. And so it has been our job to provide, as men, has been our job to provide that sense of safety and security, and just that integrity that we see around us. And when I say integrity, I don't mean doing the right thing. I mean structural integrity, the things that keep things together, the things that keep things from falling apart. That kind of integrity, in order for women to enjoy and to be able to thrive and prosper.
But don't you think that's kind of, in 2023, it's kind of I'm going to say antiquated thinking to say that the man has to be in charge and the woman needs to, I'm going to use the word follow. Is that what you're saying? That's correct me if I'm wrong.
So lead, like I said, when it comes to leadership, when you lead correctly, you are leading. You're leading for the betterment of others. You're leading to uplift others. So if you think of a traditional pyramid where you've got all the power at the top and everything's at the bottom, and then
Yeah.
power just kind of trickles down. Um, I believe that that is the wrong style. That is the wrong way to look at leadership. If you want to look at leadership, you look at that pyramid, turn it on its head.
Thank you.
Now the head is on the bottom. The responsibility for everything working correctly is at that leadership position. It is a responsibility of the leader to the people that they are responsible, that they want to see succeed. It is their responsibility. It is the leader's responsibility to make sure that everything else works correctly. And this is just something that men have done. I don't think it's antiquated because it's biological. I mean, is biology antiquated? I don't think so. We're still here.
We're still kicking.
Right,
So
exactly. So to say that it's antiquated, I mean, I get the certain the social structures are being have been challenged quite a bit, and we're seeing that all over the place. But that doesn't necessarily mean that the structures that are in place are necessarily wrong. I mean, you're going to see in the next couple of years who's right, who's wrong, because the ones that are not meant to survive are going to just suffer a normal short-lived death because they were never meant to replace the current structures that we have.
interesting. Okay. One of the viewers, Desiree Kennedy, she wants, how do you go about encouraging a man to take that first step to open up?
So the first thing that I do is I teach men how to um, really understand how they work. Human beings work the exact same way, no matter whether you or me, you're Canadian, you're American, you're French, you're African, you're doesn't matter who you are, where you're from. The insides work the exact same. So the way we interpret information, the way we react and respond are the exact same ways. We may express them differently, but we internalize information the exact same way. So if a man can understand how he feels, he's going to be better able to understand how someone else feels. And when he feels like he can interact with someone in a way that makes him feel safe, he's going to want to open up. Now, Desiree, that's a really good question, and I'm really glad that you asked this specifically because when it comes to the men in your life, you have you have an opportunity to inspire a man to want to open up. And the way you do that is by showing him the amount of immeasurable respect that he desires. And the reason why this is important is because respect is how men feel loved. Men use respect as understanding whether they are loved and whether they are lovable. And when a man is respected, and he knows that respect is not demonstrated, or that respect is demonstrated, it's not just talked about. When it is demonstrated, he feels like he is loved, he belongs, and he is safe. And safety is defined as not only the freedom from danger, but the belief that you are free from danger for the next foreseeable future. So it's the ability to not only become calm but stay calm, and then trust that the people that you are with are going to help you maintain that calm disposition. So then you can actually inspire him through that respect and through that knowledge that he is loved, he belongs where he is, and he is valued as a man and as a human. He's going to want to open up simply because he feels that respect, and he knows that someone like you, Desiree, is going to want that from him, and he's going to want to show that as his way of appreciating the inspiration that you've given him to let him know that he is respected.
Very cool. Good answer. Very good answer. Um, So now you had kind of just mentioned it in passing, but you have a degree in psychology, is that right?
Yes. Yep.
Now, obviously, this is a spiritual show.
Mhm.
Do you have any modalities that you also possess? Possess? Wow, that sounds like a wrong word.
I am possessed. No, no, I
I'm like,
yeah,
as I said it, I went, that's
right.
wrong.
So I was born as an empathic intuitive, and
Okay,
I have spent probably about 6 years studying tarot. I am a humanistic astrologer, so I use astrology to be able to understand the inner workings of human behavior and human potential. I also study human design as well as gene keys, and I use this as a way of being able to help people understand their own destiny, the walk that they are destined to um, pursue, the path that they're destined to walk, I should say, and the way that they can best express themselves to live a life that feels wholesome.
gotcha. Now I'm going to kind of take you back here because one of those, everybody knows what an empath is, intuitive. You mentioned astrology,
Yep.
and astrology has always fascinated me. Um, when we're talking astrology, now, how much studying did you do of astrology?
20 years.
Oh, so okay, so you have a little bit of knowledge, just a little bit of knowledge on astrology. And people have to understand, I love doing this show, and people like, you always act like you haven't heard most of the things your guests are going to say. And I'm like, because I haven't. I make it
Right.
a point. I don't do a whole lot of research on a guest because I want it to be open and I want it to be raw. It's just the way the show has always been. I know a little bit about them, but not a whole lot. So, astrology. First, explain what astrology is.
So astrology is one of the oldest recorded ways of understanding our world. The first recording of it was back for with Ptolemy, and the system um, that he used, and I believe it's actually even predates that. It was used in ancient Greece. It was used in Babylon. It's been used throughout history. In fact, um, um, what's his name? Hippocrates
Yes.
has actually used astrology and has stated, I'm going to paraphrase this: he who does not know astrology has no business calling himself a physician. In fact, when he would be presented with a certain case, with an illness that he did not know, or that the diagnosis was unknown, he would consult a person's astrological chart and then look at the present planets and be able to understand what was going on with that person's body.
When you think of it, how far it goes back and how many different people that we know used or we've heard of in our history lessons have used astrology. It's pretty amazing. Most people know astrology because they pick up, I'm going to show my age again. They pick up the paper and they go to your, what is it called? Your
Horoscope,
signs,
the horoscope.
horoscope. Thank you.
Yep.
And you'd look up, mine's Libra, look up Libra. What's going to happen today? That was like literally a daily thing that used to happen
Right.
back in my day. I don't know if people still do that. I don't
They,
know if
they don't use
they're
the paper, but they do it online.
they,
Absolutely, there's a
they
lot
do
of
it
online
online.
resources for that. But here's the thing: I detest the horoscope. And the reason why is because it only gives one planetary body out of 13.
Yeah,
And I say 13 because it's not just the planets that we have, but there's also different astrological bodies that I look at. And it only looks at the sun. And the reasoning behind that is the sun is how you express yourself. It is the font of life. But you've also got the font of emotions and the font of how you express how you interact with other people. and those would be the moon and the rising sign or ascendant.
Oh, okay,
And
awesome.
you if you want to look at a horoscope, look at all three of those signs. So I'm a Sagittarius sun with a Virgo moon, and my rising or ascendant is in Cancer. So
Now,
I would,
how do you depict that? Like, so I was born October 22nd. Obviously, I'm a Libra,
yeah.
but then how do you figure out the moon and the sun and all that other
So I
stuff
would
you
have to
just said?
I would have to cast your chart.
Oh, so it's not just simply I can look it up on something and go
You
this.
can go to astro.com and type in your information there, and you'll get your entire chart.
Oh,
And
okay.
so getting a chart is one thing. Understanding it is a totally different thing.
Well, exactly, exactly. It's
Yeah,
like because you hear people like you just did go, I'm a blah 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 blah,
right.
and you're like, okay, what
Yeah,
does that mean?
right. So it's because of the fact that I've studied so much, and I study my chart and many other charts as well
Of
as
course,
just I this used to be my profession along with I used to work on a site called Aranum, and it's a online based uh, platform for psychics, mediums, tarot readers, what have you, that you can broadcast all over the world. My wife actually still is on that. She's internationally renowned, um, and as a medium. And she and basically you go on video and then you do readings for people and you
oh really? Okay,
yeah. So I spent about 3 years there. I started off with tarot, but then my love for astrology just kind of took over everything. So I
very cool.
I use that almost completely when I'm doing any kind of reading. I use that. I use human design and gene keys, and human design and gene keys are based on astrology as well as the I Ching, which is the Chinese book of changes.
Very now. This has always fascinated me. I look at myself before I ended up really delving into my spirituality 3 years ago only. Um, I was very heavily into politics. So I look at someone like yourself who has a degree in psychology, and then you bring in spirituality. I thought spirituality and politics were polar opposite. Is not psychology and spirituality kind of pushing each other apart?
To the closed mind, yes.
Thank you. Good
Um,
answer.
so I said to the closed mind, and the reason why I say
Yes.
that is because um, I I am someone who has experienced both sides of it. I mean, I've not only have I had a lot of experience with the esoteric side, along with also hypnotherapy and things like that, working in that field. I've my bona fides are actually quite extensive, but the 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 exposure that I've had to not only the psychic side and also the psychological side has led me to believe that in order for one to be true, both must be true. And so what that means is let's look at the human nervous system. It's one of the greatest examples of understanding both the spiritual and the physical side. So you have the polyvagal bundle, which is responsible for our ability to stay calm and relaxed, known as socially integrated, which is what you and I are right now.
Right.
You've got fight or flee, or you've got emotional collapse, which is the sense that you feel when all hope is lost and you are waiting for the right moment to escape or die.
Okay.
Um, so in those three phases you have the vagal system, which is responsible for not only traveling, sending information from your brain to your body, but also from your body to your brain. And this includes information to your heart, your lungs, your liver, your stomach, your spleen, all of your organs. The vagus nerve is the longest nerve in your body, going from the brain all the way to your butt, and it it is responsible for helping you survive. Now, a there's also some spiritual teachings that tell us that your vagal system also is representative of your spiritual self. And when you have a parasympathetic system, a system that is at rest, and you have a healthy, well-adjusted system, it speaks to having a well-adjusted spirit. And when you have a system that is in dis-ease, a system that is in fight or flee, that is constantly in a state of worry, anxiety, or anger, or even just complete hopelessness, this speaks to a spiritual self that is in a state of dis-ease, that is disrupted, and it is
Yes.
separated from that harmony. And that separation is what has always been depicted in any one religion. You look at Judaism, Islam, Christianity, Zoroastrianism, you look at the Baha'i faith, you look at any religious system, and it shows that this separation is what is considered hell. When you have this
Oh,
separation from harmony, this is what hell is.
that makes sense.
And it's the integration of harmony, the integration of the self, both spiritually and physically, that gives us this sense of I am not only myself, but I am at peace, and I feel connected to those around me.
See, not mind, body, spirit all have to be in alignment. And I
Yep.
tell clients on a constant basis, if something is out of whack, you'll know it.
Yep.
You will know it. You got to have everything in alignment, which so that makes perfect sense. And keep saying it, and I think I don't know if I'll see it. I'm hoping my kids or my grandkids will see it when modern medicine and the spiritual community blend together, and start working more together.
You will definitely see the beginnings of that happening. You probably won't see as it becomes a real thing. I don't even know if I'll see it. But the point is, we are coming to a time very, very soon, sooner than you think, when when things are going to have to change.
Yes,
And this is coming in this next year. Oh, you're going to see a major shift in 2024 moving forward for the next 20 years that are going to be the defining years for how we move forward as a civilization.
I like it because I keep saying, man, we've moved into the age of Aquarius, as the song says. It's time for change,
Yep.
and you can feel it. You can definitely. I mean, we went through some wild times before the age of Aquarius kicked in. Um, and now I think you're right. I think I don't think it's going to be apocalyptic, Hollywoodish, but you're right. 20 some odd years, maybe longer. You're going to see it gradually getting. I want to say better. Gosh, I hope it's better. But I think society is going to be broken down to its core, and we're going to come out of it on the other side. I think better people.
We are. So we the song the Age of Aquarius, when that song was produced, it was produced while we were still in the age of Sagittarius, when it was in the 70s. So
Yes,
the reason why I call it, say, 20 years, is because 20 years is an age that is a cosmic age, especially for us, and we are able to um, track cosmic ages through the planet of Pluto. The planet of Pluto actually is the signaler of a new age, and we aren't in the age of Capricorn just yet. Pluto is still in the last vestiges of Capricorn. Um, so we'll probably come into the age of Aquarius sometime early in 2024, and that's when you're going to begin to see the changes begin to happen. There's going to be the way that the way that civilizations are going. When you look at it from the 30,000 point view, you can only help but laugh, because the way that certain political leaders are acting, it's like, what are you doing?
What have you
It
done?
is completely well, not what have you done? What are you doing? Because
Mm-hmm.
all you are doing is facilitating a way of life that is unsustainable. And but here's the thing: it has to be this way in order for people to be able to appreciate the good times. We have to have hard times.
You,
There's
you
there's a
can't have
saying,
good times without hard times.
right?
Because
Well,
what
the
would they
saying
be? They
that
would just be times.
exactly. So there's this little picture that I saw that I really like that says hard men create good times. Good times create weak people. Weak people create hard times. Hard times create strong. So yeah, hard times create strong people.
Right.
And
Isn't
then
that a
the
great
cycle
saying?
just keep on breathing.
Yes.
But you need these times like these in order to really appreciate the good things that really happen. Otherwise,
Yes.
you take it for granted and you don't really appreciate it.
Well, because and I again, when I'm counseling a client, counseling that sounds silly. When I'm talking to my clients, and I quite often it's like, yeah, you're gonna have bad times. You have to have bad times. Everybody has to have bad times because then they can have good times.
Right.
If you didn't have bad, you can't have good because it would just be times,
Yep. And
and
it's
that
just
would
like
be
that
damn
saying.
boring.
Yeah, it's just like the saying says, "This too shall pass."
Yes.
It's going to get better. It will get better. You are not destined to live the the short term challenges and the short term difficulties and tests that you currently have. These these are meant to be like iron striking iron, sharpening itself in order to become a well honed instrument.
And I honestly believe everything goes in a circle. We've been here before, we'll be there
Mhm.
again. We've been there
Yep.
before, we'll be there again. It's just the way the world works. The
Yep.
universe it works. So if people want to get in touch with you, now do you give like astrological readings? Do you do readings for people?
I can, yeah. I haven't done it in a while because I've been focusing so much on my coaching business, helping
Right.
with my work with men. If people wanted to approach me for uh, a reading, that they can find me on Instagram, jason.ian.matthews. They can also find me on my Facebook page at Relatem, RELATEM, and
Perfect.
um, find me there, or you can find me on Instagram, the intentional man.
And he's going to send me those links
Yep,
after we're off the air, and I will put them into the comment section of this video, so you'll be able to see. They'll all be there. Again, thank you for taking the time to come out and spend the time with us today. I'm really looking forward to June. It's funny because I'm really looking forward to it, but I'm also kind of nervous about it because I started doing all this during COVID.
hmm
So all my readings are on Zoom because I literally have clients from New York to California, from Vancouver Island to Prince Edward Island, and
yep,
everywhere in between. I even have a client that's in Sri Lanka. Um, is it Sri Lanka? That's not right. Afghan? No, it's one of the stands. Anyways, she watches this show quite often. Um, I haven't done a whole lot of readings in person, so
mhm.
it's going to be quite the. I've done it once that I can think of where I did something in person with a bunch of different people. So I'm looking forward to it. It should be a fun time.
You'll be nervous about the first 5 minutes, and then after that, it's all going to vanish.
Exactly. It's
Spirit takes over, and you just become a channel, and then you just give what you give, and then the time's up, and then they pay you, and then on to the next one.
exactly the spirit takes over. That's for sure. Anyways, thank you so much. Like I say, send me those links so I can put them into the comment section, and so people are able to reach out to you if they so desire.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for having me on your show.
You're more than welcome. We'll talk to you soon. I'm going to put you over here. And look at that. I'm going to keep it on time today. I'm doing well. I'm doing well. I want to thank everybody that tunes in. I so appreciate each and every one of you. If you want to get a hold of me, of course, you can it's going across the bottom of the screen. You can get a hold of me at Kevali Channeling on Facebook. Yes, I'm still doing sessions. I'm limiting my sessions to just 2 a day. I'm really trying to keep that. I just find if not, my long COVID symptoms kick in and it's a mess. So I'm finding if I could keep it down to 2 a day, I'm pretty darn good. So please look me up. Prices are still the same, only $75 for an hour, or if you just want to try it out for 30 minutes, it's $40. If you have any questions, you can always reach me at, again, Kevali Channeling, or you can reach me on my regular Facebook of Kevin Hughes. Till next week, where we're going to have amazing, it's the first time we're going to have 2 different guests at the same time. They work together all the time. I will be posting all about them. I'm hoping to see them. I think they're going to be at the same expo in June that we just talked about. So I'm hoping that. There we go. Sorry, I was trying to pull up the name. It's Making Waves Healing along with Balanced Spirit. It's Sophie and Lana. Sorry, Lana. They are amazing young ladies that are doing some amazing work over at Spirit Within here in Airdrie. I know there's a Spirit Within. There's 2 in Airdrie and 1 in Drumheller. So I'm really looking forward to hearing what they've been up to, and more so, I'm really looking forward to hearing both their journeys because I know they both have amazing, amazing stories. So again, tune in next week, 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, 6 p.m. Pacific Time, which would make it 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Till next week, guys.